So happy Friday. I have got amazing things in this box. So I wanted to just talk to you today a little bit about care and handling with flowers. And I think that that's really important. And so I had noticed on social media the beautiful antique hydrangeas that are coming out of Sun Valley right now. They are absolutely glorious. I've had them before on UBloom and I've done lots of projects with them. Some beautiful stuff. We've also just had lots and lots of really good experiences. These are high quality flowers and they're amazing. And so I called my friend Jenny and I said, would you send me a box so that I could show it off? And I want to show you how we can make some beautiful arrangements with hydrangeas right now, because these are incredible, and they're just beautiful hydrangeas. But I also wanted to show you about care and handling, because I think that's confusing for people all the time. They're always like, oh, what do I do with my hydrangeas? And people get very panicked about it, and there's no reason to panic. Number one, the most important thing that you need to do is buy good quality hydrangeas. Okay? Never, ever buy cheap hydrangeas, because you're going to get exactly what you pay for. You're going to get old stuff. You're going to get stuff that wasn't cared for properly. And look for the names that give us the best. When it comes to antique hydrangeas, Sun Valley Group are the best. These are gorgeous, gorgeous hydrangeas. So I wanted you to see that. They arrived just a few minutes ago from FedEx. And so I haven't even opened them. And that's the confidence that I have in these beautiful hydrangeas, because I know that I'm going to be able to open them on camera with you, and you're going to be able to see how pretty they are. And we're going to talk about caring for them. What we're going to need is a sharp knife or a bypass cutter. This is where I would tell you that knives are super important, because a knife is going to give us a better cut on our hydrangeas. Okay. But so let's get started. Okay. What I have ready back here is I have 2 buckets of ice cold water with my Chrysal Professional 3. Okay. I put my Chrysal Professional 3 in the water. I've measured it exactly so that it's in the water. If we were doing something other than antique hydrangeas, and we'll do that sometime, we'll work with some hydrangeas that aren't antique hydrangeas. But antique hydrangeas are not going to need a lot of extra care because they're already beautiful. But regular hydrangeas, white, blue, pink, those that are not antiqued yet, are going to need a hydration solution. But these do not need a hydration solution because they're already beautiful. So also, sometimes you've heard about alum and using powdered alum to dip your hydrangeas in if they're not taking up water. It's not something that I do with every hydrangea. It's when I find 1 or 2 that don't take up water that I will use the alum treatment. I've also heard about people who want to cut their hydrangeas and put them in boiling water. Don't do that. That's silly and ridiculous. We don't need to do that. I've also heard of people who pound or hammer the stems. Don't do that. Ridiculous. Okay. We want a nice sharp cut that's going to allow these to take up water. So these are from our friends at Sun Valley. You're familiar with them. These are grown actually in Arcata, so where it's very nice and cool, and that's where we get the cool temperature that makes these beautiful too. So they traveled yesterday from Arcata, California to me here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They arrived on FedEx this morning. We're going to open the box. So let's take a look. I'm going to get my chair out of the way, and you can deal with what you're going to be able to see then. So I'm going to take off the strap. There we go. That is gone. And I love this. On both ends, there is some plastic. See, there's plastic there. Plastic there. That's making sure that nobody shifts around inside here or that anything weird is happening during the carriage last night. It's a very light box. It's not very heavy. So we've got that. And I have my knife. I sharpened it. I have my locking blade, Swiss Army knife, my favorite. I'm going to take these. There are pieces of cellophane, tape right across here, just to hold everybody in place. Okay. I can already see them through the styrofoam. It's exciting, right? Look, you can kind of see through there already. And so we're going to pull this back like this. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of that because it'll get in the way of you being able to see. Okay. So then, all right. Now, this is inside here. New Peak fresh. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but it says new peak fresh. This is a special bag inside here that helps keep these flowers hydrated as they travel to me. So it's special technology with this bag to keep the moisture in so they won't dehydrate as quickly. Fascinating and fabulous. That's something that you might pay an extra penny or two for. And that's really important because you want the best quality product you can get. And one of the things that people say about Sun Valley, it really truly doesn't matter what product you get from them. They are the best at providing high quality product because it means the world to my friends at Sun Valley, to Lane and Jenny and all the people who work there, that they're producing quality flowers for you that are going to last a long time. So what we're going to do is fold this back on both sides and let you take a peek inside there. Look at that. They're amazing. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, wow. Look at these. They're just incredible. And this is right out of the box. I mean, I just opened this up right this second. And that's the hydrangea that are inside here. And here's the pink that are inside here. And there's some lavender and stuff. I mean, these are absolutely exquisite. There is nothing happening with that. Look at that stem. That's beautiful. And that's the type of quality that you want to look for when you're buying your hydrangeas. These are just beautiful, just amazing. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to set them down here so that I can pull them out of the box. Okay. And I'm going to put my bucket up here so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So I have a knife. I also have a bypass cutter. It's my Dram bypass cutter, the Color Point bypass cutter. I would use a bypass cutter before I would use one that looks more scissor-like. This is the Color Point pruner. I would use this before I would use this. And ultimately, I would use a knife to cut these, okay? So they have a woody stem. And again, don't be fooled by that. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's a woody stem and, oh, I need to hammer it with a hammer. What I tell people all the time is, if you hammer this with a hammer, you're going to shred the vascular system and it's not going to be able to take up water. So that's not smart. Don't do that, okay? So if we use a bypass pruner, notice how I cut it on an angle like that. And now it goes immediately into my water, okay? Now, here's an interesting thing because this stem is really long, right? And so I probably should use a taller bucket because it's going to flip over here. And I don't want this to happen because then it's going to be out of water, okay? So I want to keep my eye on that. When I get enough in here, they're going to support each other and hold each other, or I could take the length of the stem down. That's another thing that I could do, but I don't necessarily want to do that because I might want these long. But in the case of cutting the stem down, I also could cut here with a bypass pruner and then stick it in there. Look at how this one's supported much more than this one, okay? Because it has a shorter stem. All right, so now, and again, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now, look at the two differences in the colors of these stems. Here we have a stem that is green, and here we have a stem that's woody. All right, a woody stem, I will use that bypass cutter. A green stem, I should cut with my knife. So what I want to show you is I want to show you the technique that I use. So I lay my hand flat like this, and then I lay my knife like this. So think about these two things. My knife blade that's facing my thumb and my thumb as being goalposts. I don't ever want them to get closer to one another. I want them to be stationary, okay? And so when I grab my knife, now I have a pocket in there, and I don't want to bring my thumb here. I don't want to, do anything weird with that, okay? What I want to do is I want to stick my stem between those, turn it to the side, and pull my stem, okay? Now I get that nice long cut. Let me show you, and I'm going to do it fast. There we go. So I can put it in water. Put it immediately in water once I've done that. But let's look at that one more time. Okay. So what's going on is my stem is going between my thumb and my knife, and I'm creating leverage against the blade and my thumb. Now what you're going to notice is my thumb is not going to come towards my blade at all. I'm just going to turn and I'm going to pull, and then I get that perfect cut every single time. But if I go like this and bend it over that, that's going to be a bad thing. I want to make sure that I'm always using that leverage and just pulling to get that cut. Now, what's interesting about that is once I get good at it, I can go fast. Now, I've got two different kinds in here. I got the woody stem. So with the woody stem, I'm going to use my bypass cutter. Look at that beautiful hydrangea. Oh my God. I mean, really, truly, I might have to get my chair out because I might have to sit down because these are so beautiful. Makes me weak in the knees, right? So again, I'm going to cut off. And again, I want to make sure I get a nice long cut. And these are going to go into my bucket immediately. Okay? Cutting, going into the bucket. I don't want to wait. You know, many times you'll see people lay them all out on the table and then cut one at a time, or cut them all in a bunch and then drop them in. I want to make sure that as soon as I cut it, as soon as I give it that fresh cut, I'm going to go into the water right away, into the water. Fresh cut into the water. Fresh cut into the water. And again, look at pulling on the stem to make sure that I'm getting it that nice slanted cut before it goes into the bucket. Pulling the stem. My knife and my thumb never go towards each other. These are solid. They stay in one spot the whole time. Okay? Now I think I'm getting to a point where my bucket's pretty full because I want to give them air. I want them to have air around them so that they're going to be beautiful and pretty. Look at that. Look at how pretty that is. Oh my gosh. Wow. Just gorgeous. Here's one more bucket. And again, pulling. There we go. Pulling. Pulling. Pulling the stem away from me and having leverage against my thumb and the knife. So I've got some cool plans for these beautiful hydrangeas. We're going to make some pretty arrangements using them, but I figured it was great for us to do this first, is to just be able to process them. Because what we want to do is we want to allow them to sit in this water for a few hours and take up water. They're thirsty. The flower is called hydrangea, from the Greek word hydra, meaning water. And so we want them to take up water and start to drink before we make them into our arrangement. Look at, it's just incredible. These are just absolutely beautiful. And again, so now you see I've got all these stems and I've got an empty box. Okay? So I've got all these stems. So again, one more time, cutting that stem at an angle with our bypass cutter for the woody stems. For these stems, we're pulling. There we go. And we've got that pulling to get that nice cut every single time. So I think it's important for us to think about that. So we've got beautiful hydrangeas, and there we go. Beautiful hydrangeas again from our friends at Sun Valley. And quick way to process them is putting them into Chrysal Professional 4, ice cold water, no warm water. Don't soak the heads. I've heard crazy stuff about that too. Don't do that. We want to go ice cold water, Chrysal Professional 3. That's going to be a perfect way for us to work with them. If we need hydration for them, we could use Rose Pro Hydration. I'll show you that in a different video because these from Sun Valley are antique hydrangeas. They're absolutely beautiful, and I wouldn't have to do any of that stuff. These are going to be just dandy. So this is part 1. Tune in for part 2 and 3, where we'll make some pretty arrangements with these and show you some fun things that you can do. But again, where's my box? Here we go. Part of the secret behind this is, there we go, our friends at Sun Valley Group, okay? Sun Valley grows these antique hydrangeas, and they're absolutely beautiful. They come in pink, lavender, blue, and green, okay? And call your rep or ask at your wholesale house to get these hydrangeas. They're absolutely beautiful, and now you know how to take care of them, and we'll show you soon how you can make a cool arrangement with them. Until next time, keep having fun with flowers.